Mystery House from 1980. One of the first computer games with graphics.
Jetzt können wir versuchen, die Tür aufzumachen. Open Door. Und jetzt ist auf.
The house can be entered. The tree next to it has no game function. The historical representation of the tree in the history of computer games. These trees have a function in the game. When they screw into the ground, the surrounding squares turn red and can no longer be accessed. Now the leaves sway lightly in the wind. Birds fly through the image, some of them just as shadows. The world of a computer game can be explored individually. You can examine the background or other details. Within 30 years, the leap from a stick drawing to an image which can barely be distinguished from real cinematographic photographic images. Back in 1980, only vertical and horizontal lines could be used. And back in 1986, every shape had to be formed from squares. The leaves and branches have barely learned to move, and already the question is whether they move too steadily. Perhaps a thin branch should bend more than a thick one. In cinema, there is the wind that blows and the wind blown by a wind machine. With computer images, there is only one kind of wind. A new constructivism. Here is a flame made of squares. They say, back then they could only make objects from squares, the same way one says, the Egyptians could only draw people in profile. You can reenact a naval battle in a water drum, And likewise, the history of one form of images can be used as a model for the development of a different type of image. Painting, photography, film, computer imagery.
Newsflash. The war as if you were there. The Doms have attacked the Southern Lighthouse.
Most painters of the modern age rejected the official history that early representative art was limited and only advanced later after some setbacks, right up to photography. Here is water represented as a blue surface with green spots. Water in motion, made from dashes and dots. The creators of computer imagery didn't have to wait thousands of years for the Renaissance. Right from the start, their imagery was closely associated with the work of technicians and scientists. These images also show the development from a symbolic form to filmic realism, from abstraction to concretism. Here, the foam splashes straight upwards with each wave. Apparently, there is something blocking the flow directly below the surface. In a fiction film, we would view this effect from various perspectives if the splashing foam was supposed to be a clue for something, like a sunken boat or a concrete coffin. The virtual camera can dive under these waters, but there is no ocean floor to be seen. The rocks float on the water's surface, reminiscent of the child who cuts open a doll to probe the mystery of representation. The Egyptians could build pyramids. The Middle Ages created cathedrals, but neither was capable of representation in perspective. This is what we learned in school.
Aber wenn ich ihn hier nur das What about hybrid?
Here are clouds formed from squares. According to legend, the Greek Zeuxis could make drawings of fruit so realistic that birds flocked by to peck at them. Clouds created by a computer and clouds photographed by a camera. The flickering image on the right reveals that it is from a camera. Maybe the computer images will assume functions that were previously held by film. Maybe that will liberate film for other things. The computer images try to achieve the effect of film images. They want to surpass them, leave them far behind. The creators of computer imagery do not want to attract flocks of Greek birds. Their heavens should be populated by creatures of their own design.